Hi, guys. I am reading a very interesting story. I got halfway through it and decided to make a little video about it so I can reach some of the content creators in the YouTube streets. Um, I see a lot of very talented content creators um, on YouTube. And this video is going to serve as a precautionary measure to some of you content creators as far as what type of content that you put on YouTube. This story is about a young black author who filed a copyright infringement lawsuit against the Wachowski brothers and Warner Brothers, and also Joel Silver. Okay, so now let me get into the story. The story is rather long, but I hope you guys stay till the end because it will benefit you, especially you content creators that are putting excellent work out there on YouTube. So let me go ahead and read. It says Black author wins copyright case for Matrix movie. Black author wins the Matrix copyright infringement case. This little known story has met a just conclusion as Sophia Stewart, African American author of The Matrix, will finally receive her just due from the copyright infringement of her original work. A 6-year dispute has ended involving Sophia Stewart, the Wachowski brothers, Joel Silver, and Warner Brothers. Stewart's allegations involving copyright infringement and racketeering were received and acknowledged by the Central District of California Judge Margaret Morrow presiding. Stewart, a New Yorker who has resided in Salt Lake City for the past 5 years, will recover damages from the films The Matrix 1, 2, and 3, as well as The Terminator and its sequels. She will soon receive one of the biggest payouts in the history of Hollywood, as the gross receipts of both films and their sequels total over $2.5 billion. Okay, so she is the original creator of the movie The Matrix 1, 2, and 3, and The Terminator. And so somehow these people were able to take her content and use her content, make movies from the stories that she wrote without compensating her. And so it is very important for the content creators, even though you have some level of protection on YouTube, please be aware of the type of content that you are sharing with YouTube, because they have content hustlers out there. They go from social media platform to platform searching for the best content so they can steal your work. Either they'll use it in its entirety, or they'll break it down so that you won't recognize that it belongs to you. But as an author myself, what I can say, and I'm sure most of you will feel the same way, anything that you've put down on paper, you will recognize it when you see it again, even if it's broken down. But the point is to always make sure that even if it's something small, it may seem small to you, but it may be big to somebody else, and it may be worth something. Please make sure that you are copywriting your content. That's why for me, I think I shared with you guys that I am a local playwright. I write stories and I create screenplays for some of the local churches in the state and in the city that I live in. I was a member of 3 local churches at one time, and I had to depart from one. And the one that I had to depart from was actually my home church. And in that church, I had written many plays for the church and our community, as well as put it in the form of screen plays. I actually had people acting these plays out. Luckily for me, because I knew that my work was important and I understood that people actually wanted to hear and see what I had to say, I was just smart enough to go ahead on and copyright every screenplay I had written for that particular church. Because at the end, I knew I would have some type of problem with these people, because when I departed from the church, being that the screenplays and the scene plays were a part of the ministry, it had become a part of the ministry. So therefore, I knew if my stuff wasn't copywritten, they would try to use my content without my consent. But everything that I had written, I copywrote. Because I knew the day would come that I would have to leave that particular church. And so when I left that particular church, every play that I had presented to that church that was recorded and put on a hard drive, being that I had copywritten it, even though in the ministry the work was for free. My content came with me when I left because I had protected it by copywriting it. And so that's why I'm telling, and some of you content creators, I see it. I have an eye for talent. You guys make sure, it could be a song. Make sure that you are copywriting your material before you put it out there. Because somebody will steal your content, they will plagiarize your information, and they will claim it as their own. And you may not find out until years later. And like I say, it may not mean you may not be making money off of the content that you put out, but somebody else could take it and make money off of it. And so protect your work. Now let me go ahead on and continue on with the story. So it says, Stewart filed her case in 1999 after viewing The Matrix, which she felt had been based on her manuscript, The Third Eye, copywritten in 1981. In the mid-'80s, Stewart had submitted her manuscript to an ad placed by the Wachowski brothers, requesting new sci-fi works. So here we have this young lady placing her manuscript in the hands of these people, expecting pay and work, because nobody is going to just hand over their manuscript and they're not expecting to receive something from it. And then they went behind her, took her manuscript, and created not one, not two, but three movies from her manuscript. How foul is that? And then went on to gross $2.5 million over time. Keep in mind, The Matrix is a movie that is still in replay as I speak today. This is mind-boggling, but luckily for her that she copywrote her material. According to court documentation, an FBI investigation discovered that more than 30 minutes had been edited from the original film, and that's what I was just saying. They will take your work, tweak it a little bit, and then use it as their own. But as the content creator, as the author of the work that you're putting out there, you know your work when you see it. And that's what happened with her. When she got a chance to look at The Matrix, she automatically knew that that belonged to her. Because you see, what a lot of people don't understand, as a writer or as a content creator, even with music, and I'm also a part of that as well. I have written songs for people, in the church. And in the church, again, a lot of the stuff that we do is for free because it's ministry. But the songs that I wrote, either I wanted my pay up front, or it was copywritten and my name, if they recorded it, if they went in the studio and put it on wax, I had royalties to it as the author, as the writer of the lyrics. And that's just how it goes, because everything, we can't, in ministry especially, we can't do everything for free. The Bible says your gift will make room for you. So if your gift make room for you, then you use your gift. Sure, you can give your gift back to the church, but when you're branching out and you're doing things for the public, you have to get paid for your work. So in that regard, yes, when I would write lyrics for the local artists in the city that I live in, I want my money. Straight up. Yes, I am a minister and all that is good, but we need to get paid too. So everything I did, I got my credit. When I wrote my plays, I was the author, I was the director. Sometimes I acted in them, and I produced them. It all belonged to me. Nobody could get recognition for the work that I put out. And believe it or not, I got a lot of negative feedback for the way I handled it. But as I said, everything that we write as authors, every story we write, it's like giving birth to a child. So we protected. I protected my work. And so she understood that from watching it, that it was her content. They had taken 30 minutes out of it. But even with the 30 minutes they took out of it, and I'm sure they tweaked it a little bit along the way, she still recognized her work. And so it says, in an attempt to avoid penalties for copyright infringement, They took the 30 minutes out of it. But the investigation also stated that credible witnesses employed at Warner Brothers came forward, claiming that the executives and lawyers had full knowledge that the work in question did not belong to the Wachowski brothers. My God. These witnesses claimed to have seen Stewart's original work and that it had been often used during preparation for the motion pictures. The defendants tried on several occasions to have Stewart's case dismissed without success. Stewart has confronted skepticism on all sides, much of which comes from the Matrix fans, who are strangely loyal to the Wachowski brothers. One online forum entitled Matrix Explained has an entire section devoted to Stewart. Some who have researched her history and writings are open to her story. Stewart, others are suspicious and mocking. It didn't bother me, said Stewart in a phone interview last week. I always knew what was true. And of course, she knew that that was her material they were using. Some fans are unaware of the case or they question its legitimacy due to the fact that it has received little to no media coverage. Though the case was not made public until October 2003, Stewart has her own explanation as quoted, and I don't know what that says, a ghetto a ghetto a ghettotimes.com. The reason you have not seen any of this in the media is because Warner Brothers' parent company is AOL Time Warner. This giant owns 95% of the media. Let me give you a clue as to what they own in the media business. New York Times Papers Magazines, LA Times Papers Magazine, People's Time Papers People's Magazine, CNN News, Extra, Celebrity Justice, Entertainment Tonight, HBO, New Line Cinema, DreamWorks, Newsweek, Village Roadshow, and many, many more. They are not going to report on themselves. And that's the fact, they won't do it. They have been suppressing my case for years. Fans who have taken Stewart's allegations seriously have found eerie, methodical parallels which seem significant in a case that revolves around the highly metaphorical and symbolic Matrix series. Sophia, the Greek goddess of wisdom, has been referenced many times in speculation about Stewart. In one book about the goddess Sophia, it reads, the black goddess is the mistress of the web creation spun in her divine matrix. Although there have been outside implications as to racial injustice, Stewart is African American. She does not feel that this is the case. This is all about the Benjamins, Stewart said. It's not about money with me. It's about justice. Stewart's future plans involve a record label entitled Pop Silk Records and a motion picture production company, All Eyes on Me, in reference to a God. I wrote the third eye to wake people up, to remind them why God put them here. There's more to life than money, said Stewart. My whole to the world is about God and good and about choice, about spirituality over tenacity. Techchronacy. If Stewart represents spirituality, then she truly has prevailed over the technon techchronacy, represented in both the Terminator and the Matrix, and now, ironically, by their supposed creators. Wow. This is an amazing story, and it's an eye opener for content creators who freely put good content out on social media. And as I said before, and you can look into it for yourself, you have a certain level of protection over your content, but once you post it on social media, basically does not belong to you anymore, you know, in that regard. So the you want to be great at what you do, especially with your content on YouTube, but make sure you're not giving them all, because somebody could come along and steal your content. And take for instance, even with YouTube, you know what, we know how it goes with YouTube, and how, you know, how it's set up. YouTube makes money off of our content. We get a percentage, but they get paid too. Google gets paid too. They get paid from the ads. So just keep that in mind, guys. And to be honest with you, one of the first persons that comes to mind while reading this story is Boss Man. Because, boss, you have some awesome content. Your music is awesome. Protect your work. And I know that you are, but I'm just saying that out loud because I know that you're wise enough to do so, and I'm hoping that you are protecting your content. So there's only one paragraph left. Um, you guys can find the story for yourselves if you want to read it. It says black author wins. All you got to do is type that in your search engine, and it's gonna come up. But this is an amazing story to me. So she wins in the end because she was wise enough to copyright her material. Years ago, when I was having my plays copywritten, you go to the Library of Congress, and I believe it was like back then, back in the day, it was like $35 to have a story copywritten. So if you're not copyrighting your material, please do so. This is for all the great content creators that I see on YouTube. Thank you guys. Have a blessed evening. Bye bye.